Fox 61 breaking news now.
We are following breaking news here at 6. Farmington police say a 10-year-old accidentally shot themselves in the leg today. They say the child is in the hospital and is expected to recover. Investigators say a 19-year-old family member named Jordan Cruz left the child and the gun unattended in a car. Police arrested Cruz, and he's been charged with illegal possession of a firearm and risk of injury to a child. Cruz is being held on bond and is due in court tomorrow. Well, now to our top story. Police say a string of evidence from surveillance video to DNA helped them build a murder case in a deadly shooting inside a Stratford home. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. New details from the arrest warrant are now shedding light on what investigators say led up to that night.
Fox 61's Alicia Hercules has that story.
Brent, according to the arrest warrant, Robert Kopac's mother, Nicole Tucci, told a witness that her son shot up the home and shot Paul Balzerano, but she wasn't sure why.
On April 4th, police were called to Woodstock Avenue just before midnight for a report of a disturbance. When police arrived, Nicole Tucci, 43-year-old Paul Balzerano's girlfriend, was hysterical in the living room. Officers followed bullet cartridges up the stairs to the second floor of the home, where they found Balzerano on the floor in his bedroom in a pool of blood. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Autopsy results show he was shot 9 times. His cause of death was gunshot wounds to the neck, torso, and lower extremity. The manner of death was ruled a homicide. Police records show there had been wellness checks at the home, which resulted in 2 separate arrests. During police questioning, Tucci appeared intoxicated and very uncooperative. During interviews, she said Balzerano, quote, just dropped dead in her arms. When she was told that he was shot multiple times, she said she had no idea despite having blood on her clothes. According to the arrest warrant, Robert Kopac, Tucci's son, had several registered firearms. After getting a search warrant, police discovered his registered firearms and a Glock with an illegal switch that was unregistered to him. Once the search warrant was issued, Kopac's attorney says he immediately complied with investigators.
He immediately surrendered himself when he did not have to. Back when the day that this was said to have occurred.
Court documents say Kopac's car infotainment system and cell phone records place him at the home when the shooting happened. According to the arrest warrant, nearby surveillance video also shows Kopac entering the home. Shortly after, several loud sounds consistent with gunshots are heard on a neighboring camera before he's seen getting back into his car and driving off. An anonymous tipster told police the location of the gun in Stratford. Investigators say his DNA was found on the gun. Tucci later told an officer a few days later who gave her a ride when she got a flat tire, quote, my son killed my lover. During a conversation with a witness captured on Ring camera, Tucci can be heard saying that her son Kopac was not protecting her, and she said there were no issues between her son and Paul Balzerano.
Tucci went on to say the two didn't always get along, but were on good terms at the time and wasn't sure why Kopac would kill him. He's being held on a $1.5 million bond. He's expected back in court on May 19th. Live in studio, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Alicia, thank you. A New York man is accused of stabbing a 69-year-old man this morning in Bethel. Police say they are working on pressing charges against Sean Vota. Officials say Vota stabbed the man in the upper back and in the wrist on Greenwood Avenue. They say the man is expected to be okay. The department thanked an off-duty Stamford police officer for following Vota and helping other officers. It's unclear what led to the stabbing.
A math teacher who also serves as the wrestling coach for Norwich Free Academy is under investigation, according to the head of school. They say Steve Nelson was involved in an alleged incident during the winter sports season, but didn't get into specifics. But state court records show he is charged with risk of injury to a child, which is a felony, and a misdemeanor charge of third-degree assault. Those court records also show the offense happened on December 30th. The private school says once it got word of this, it placed Nelson on administrative leave and notified DCF. And DCF did confirm with us they received a report last December, and they're encouraging anyone with any information to contact them. Well, an 18-year-old died in a motorcycle crash in Newtown yesterday. Police say Christopher Gualpa-Lema from Danbury hit the back of a FedEx delivery truck on Hollyville Road. First responders pronounced Gualpa-Lema dead at the scene. At this time, it is unclear what caused the crash. In his obituary, his family said he was a senior at Danbury High School and will be remembered for his beautiful heart and the love he gave freely.
3 people were hospitalized with a variety of injuries after they got into a crash in Waterbury yesterday. Police say it involved a minivan and a sedan on Long Hill Road and Wolcott Street. They say the driver of the sedan is hurt but stable, and his passenger is in critical condition. We're told the minivan driver was hurt but is expected to recover as well, and we are working to learn more about the crash itself.
Now to a different crash. A car and a school bus with 2 kids on board crashed in Enfield this morning. Now that happened on Bernardino Avenue. The town's police chief told us the driver was hospitalized but will be okay. Right now we are working to learn more details about what happened.
Speed cameras are coming soon to highway work zones in Connecticut. The Department of Transportation has worked on this for several years now and say they are now ready to be rolled out.
And they say those speed cameras will help slow down drivers and keep their workers safe. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson spoke with DOT about what drivers can expect.
The State Department of Transportation says they've recorded way too many people speeding in their work zones, and they believe the solution to the problem is putting in speed cameras, hoping that drivers will correct their behavior. The speed camera program has been years in the making for the state's Department of Transportation. From a pilot program in 2023 to testing phases in 2025, and now on the horizon of an official rollout, the department has spent a lot of time getting the cameras effective for use. Spokesperson Josh Morgan has seen the evolution of the project firsthand.
We saw in some work zones that speeds dropped close to 20% when there was active enforcement happening in the work zone. We've been testing these devices now out in our work zone since late 2025.
During the pilot program in 2023, DOT only used 3 cameras to test data. Now they've been approved for 15 cameras at any given time.
That's helpful for us because sometimes we'll have work zones during the day, and then we'll also have some work zones at night. Having the flexibility to have more of these options out there around the state just gives us that flexibility based on the job site.
They'll be using both stationary and mobile cameras to help cover more work zones across the state.
We also have the flexibility to deploy these in SUVs and have them be mobile. So when our maintenance workforce is going out there to maybe fix guide rail, to maybe do a litter collection or a mowing operation, we could have some of that enforcement as well, because it's not just on 95, 84, 91. We also are seeing dangerous behaviors on Route 2, on Route 7, on some of the secondary state roads where people are just driving way too fast, way too dangerously.
These cameras will pick up anyone going 10 miles an hour over the posted work zone speed limit. Morgan says in most state work zones, you can expect to go 45 miles an hour.
If it's their first offense, they're just going to get a warning. And really, we want that to be the wake-up call of, hey, maybe they didn't see the sign or maybe they didn't realize they were speeding. We saw that in the pilot where we had something about 20,000 warnings, but a fraction of that were actual citations. If you are found a second, third, fourth, we hope that's not you, but it will be a $75 citation.
Now, even though warnings will be issued for a driver's first offense, someone going well over the speed limit, like 80 or 90 miles per hour, can expect a fine right away, even if it is their first time. These speed cameras will be rolled out at the beginning of June. In Hartford, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
An investigation is still underway tonight after a fire forced nearly a dozen people out of their apartment building. Now, this happened just before 2 o'clock this morning, and Fox 61's Aaron Coogan gives us a look at the damage.
Well, definitely a scary wake-up call for so many living here at the Fairmont Heights apartment complex in New Haven. 1 person was rushed to the hospital after suffering burns. 11 others were displaced. I want to show you the extensive damage here to several of the first floor units. You can see the twisted metal, busted out windows, and insulation strewn across the lawn. Here, we want to show you video from earlier this morning. We had crews here for several hours. A fire broke out around 1:45 this morning. It took crews about 45 minutes to completely extinguish it. In that time, folks were woken up to blaring alarms. They were forced outside of the building, evacuated. 11 units, again, displaced, destroyed during that fire. We spoke to some residents that say in trying to evacuate, they were trapped by thick smoke and heavy flames. Take a listen.
And black smoke was coming through the top of the doorway. And so the smoke was so heavy, my husband and I couldn't get out the door. So the policeman came to the window and helped us to get out through the window. We were able to grab a little bit of stuff because they said that they don't know how long we're going to be.
Again, 11 units were displaced, but we saw several people in the parking lot evacuated as of early this morning. We did learn from the Red Cross that those living on the second and third floor of this building are going to be able to return to their apartments later this afternoon. Of course, as we learn anything about updated conditions on that one person brought to the hospital or the cause of the fire, we're going to have it for you on air and online at fox61.com. Reporting in New Haven, Eric Coogan, Fox 61.
Now, for the second time, the U.S. Justice Department is targeting former FBI Director James Comey. Sources say Comey was indicted today on charges related to a social media post he made last year. The indictment was brought in the Eastern District of North Carolina. An arrest warrant was issued for Comey by a court clerk. Comey's post featured a picture of seashells on the beach with what officials say was a message threatening Trump, the famous 8647 post. Well, last September, the DOJ brought charges against Comey, accusing him of lying to Congress over leaks to the press. That case was dismissed. The president has long pressed for his political adversaries to face charges. Comey's team has yet to issue an official response to these new charges. And a gunman at this weekend's White House Correspondents' Dinner has ramped up Republican calls to build President Trump's White House ballroom. Now it might cost even more, and taxpayers may be responsible for the difference. Caroline Shively has more.
President Trump proudly showing plans last month for the White House ballroom, touting its private funding.
It's all donors. There's not one dime of government money going into the ballroom.
But now some Republican lawmakers are pushing harder than ever for Congress to pay for it after a gunman breached a security checkpoint at a press gala over the weekend attended by the Trumps and cabinet members.
This is not about Trump. It's about the presidency of the United States. It's about the person who occupies that office not being put at risk if they choose to go off campus.
You need to have a safe, secure facility on the White House grounds for these big events.
Others are divided over whether taxpayers should contribute to the now $400 million addition.
There will be a lot of military stuff. There will be a Secret Service annex. Underneath this ballroom will be infrastructure that is national security centric.
Meanwhile, Democrats remain strongly opposed to the 90,000 square foot construction project, especially when Department of Homeland Security still isn't funded.
And he started to build this ballroom long before any incident. He also promised the American people that this was going to be built with private dollars. And so the idea that they are now trying to change the rationale for this in retrospect doesn't quite add up.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has filed a motion asking a judge to overturn an earlier ruling pausing above-ground construction. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox 61.